Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one's entitled Planet X Cataclysm, the Dying Sun and Earth Drifting Through Space. As I have written in many articles, the sun is no longer shining, and you may look at article 500 entitled The Sun is No Longer Shining Review, and has most likely not been shining since at least 1998. And you may look at article 536 entitled Was the Sun Already Not Shining in 1998? The sun going dark was the result of the Planet X system objects, which have been coming to it as comets for thousands of years. And you may look at article 367 entitled Planet X Coming in as Comets and Affecting the Earth. These objects are surrounded in a cloud of debris, and most pieces, including the core, are surrounded in water clouds. The objects absorb electrons through this water cloud, and this absorption of electrons in the sun's corona by these water clouds has led to the sun eventually becoming depleted in high-energy electrons, which decrease the size of the corona, created larger and larger coronal holes, and eventually led to the corona disappearing entirely, thus causing the sun to go dark. And you may look at article 535 entitled The Sun is No Longer Shining, What Has Happened to It? And here you can see one of these objects, a Planet X system stellar core, and this was a huge object, turned out to actually be larger than the sun. And you can see the huge amount of debris coming with the object, which must have been the outer layers of this object. Actually, it could be its planets as well, because such a large stellar core would have been a star, and the central star possibly a very large planetary system, star system, and it may therefore be accompanied by its own planets with their own debris fields. And now when this debris entered the sun's corona in a large quantity, it absorbed high energy electrons in the sun's corona, which caused its internal electric field to drop, and that part of the sun's atmosphere to drop out of plasma arc mode and thus go dark. And here you can see what the sun, well, it represents what the sun used to look like. It has a core, which is plasma, and it's the hottest and densest part. The internal part will be in the liquid phase, and the outer part will be in the gaseous phase. That's its atmosphere. So this layer is like magma. It just has more energy, more gravitational energy in it than the magma in the Earth's core. But now it would have become like this, because its atmosphere, which here is in plasma arc mode, can no longer go into plasma arc mode because of the fact that it doesn't have electrons with enough energy in them to produce a strong enough electric field to then place the atmosphere in plasma arc mode. So the atmosphere is now cold and dark, and that means that the outer layers of the sun would be solidifying, and these would be turning into solid rock, and therefore it's turning into a planet or a dark star. And you may look at article 506 entitled Earth CMEs and Star Internal Structure. So, as I have shown in article 542 entitled Planet X Observation-Based Energy Conversion in the Cores of Planets and Stars, stars should be able to replenish their outer layers of electrons, because stars continuously create matter containing the same number of protons and electrons. Most of the protons and a few electrons are ejected as solar wind, whilst most of the electrons are retained in the outer layers of the star and maintain its high electric field, which allows it to continue to maintain a corona, in other words, the part of its atmosphere which is in plasma arc mode. Thus, the sun's increased weakness must be due to the fact that it became impossible for it to keep up with the depletion in electrons, which caused the size of the corona to decrease until it was no more. This in turn suggests that the sun's internal energy became depleted, and thus indicates that the sun is truly dying. As the sun's internal gravitational energy supply declines, it is expected that its gravitational influence will drop to the point that its planets will drift further out from it until they will drift through space as planets with no central star. It is in fact possible that this is already happening in the solar system, as our sky is the product of holographic projections, and it will thus be impossible to tell where we are with respect to real stars in the sky. And you may look at Article 504 entitled The Moon Hologram and Holographic Projection Technology Disclosure for more details. And here you can see some of the evidence that I've shown in the past regarding the fact that we have a holographically projected sky. And these are photographs from a web camera in Montreux, Switzerland. This one is from 10 a.m. This one is from 8:20 a.m. And as you can see, the sky remained dark. It remained as it was in the middle of the night, and it froze. It did not move. It looks exactly the same in both photographs. And both photographs are definitely different. If you look at the clouds here, you can see this cloud formation is not the same as that. You can see that it looks thinner here. It doesn't have that reddish spot there. These clouds at the top look different as well. The structure is not the same. There's no, that pointy thing there is not there. You can see that the shape here is different. Here it's almost vertical, there it's diagonal. You can also see that the lights are different. If you look carefully, this light here goes continuously across, whilst this one has a break in it before it reaches the end there. The reflection on the water itself is different. It has a different shape in various places, and that's because the fog was different. You can see clearly it looks almost a bit lighter here than it does there, and it reaches to different points, the lighter part here than it does there. And so it's definitely different because the fog was changing and moving. What wasn't changing was the sky. And you can see that there's a bit of cloud there that is not there. It's definitely a difference between the two photographs. They are different photographs because they were taken at different times. But the sky was frozen. And the only way we can have a frozen sky if it's a holographic projection. And you may look at Article 423 entitled The Holographically Projected Sky, Irrefutable Evidence. And we also have sun simulators which use laser technology. You can see this one here. There's a green laser beam coming from it, and there's a pink laser beam through this one. Also, they're not perfectly round and circular, or yellow as the real sun would be. You may look at Article 466 entitled Sun Simulated Technologies Based on Lasers and the Sun is No Longer Shining Discovery. The sun has also been replaced by sun simulators, which are able to control the amount of heating in the atmosphere and are thus able to artificially produce seasonal changes. This is also why the poles have warmed up. The heat in the atmosphere is no longer due to a change in the amount of sunlight a region of the world gets, but due to the amount of radiation emitted by the simulators. The simulators are based on laser technology, and the technology necessary to make such devices possible had been developed by 1972. And you may look at Article 407 entitled Sun Simulation System, Technology and Power Generation. Thus, the sun has been weakened due to being drained by the Planet X system's stellar cores. These objects induce the sun into having CMEs, which are matter creation events, in which the sun transforms its internal gravitational energy into matter, which the stellar cores absorb and thus gain gravitational energy. This seems to have been happening for thousands of of years and seems to now have depleted the sun to the point that it has gone dark. The objects will continue to go to the sun and induce these reactions from it for as long as it is still able to do them. So the sun's energy will continue to decline at an accelerated rate until it will eventually grow cold and stop having any of these matter creation events. Because of the electron depletion, it will be like the Planet X system cores, be positively charged and become a lot like the Planet X system stellar cores, therefore, which have been destroying it. It will too lose its outer layers as they will break up and float out into space, but the process will be much slower than what seems to have occurred with the Planet X system, which seemed to have suddenly exploded. And you may look at article 542 entitled Planet X Observation-Based Energy Conversion in the Core of planets and stars. The sun will then be assimilated and the planet exists into the Planet X system, and if it finds a star from which it is able to draw energy and become re-energized, it may turn into a gas giant planet in that star system. And you may look at article 523 entitled Planet X and the Solar System, Jupiter and all gas giants or recent acquisitions. So in conclusion, the sun is now severely energy depleted as it can no longer renew its outer negative layer and is thus on its way to becoming a dead stellar core like the Planet X system stellar cores. The process in the case of the sun, and contrary to what seems to have occurred with the Planet X system stellar cores, which suddenly lost most of their energy, seems to be a slow one, which will cause its planets to drift into space before it is finalized. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.